Assalamualaikum and very good evening. Before the program starts, I would like to invite the participants to be ready as the program will begin shortly. Thus, I would like to invite all of you to say hi in the comment section to enliven our program this evening. And don't forget to share this on your social media account and tag Mahalla Halima on your post so that everyone can know and gain benefits from this talk. Also, a gentle reminder, please make sure you register your details in the Google form provided in the chat box at the end of the program for start point and evaluation feedback. Your cooperation is appreciated. Thank you. Indah berbalam si awan petang, berarak di celah pepohon ara. Pemanis kalam, selamat datang. Awal bismillah, pembuka bicara. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings to our great speakers, Sister Aini and Sister Aida. All committees and participants, I wish a very good evening to all ladies and gentlemen. Alhamdulillah, praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, we have been graced by the chance together in this momentous program. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aidyl Salman and I'm your MC for our program on this glorious evening, which entitled Fly with Your A, Stretch Your Mind and Fly. Of course, I'm not alone today. With me are two awesome and beautiful speakers, Sister Aini and Sister Aida. Assalamualaikum, Sister Aini and Sister Aida. How are you feeling today?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you, Aidyl?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good too. How about Sister Aida? Are you feeling good today?
Waalaikumsalam. Feeling good as well. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah, welcome. Alhamdulillah, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin with our talk which is Fly with UIA, let me introduce our honorable speaker for today. As the saying goes, tak kenal maka tak cinta, maka ta'aruflah kita. I'm honored to spill the beans and that's about our speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing our first speaker, Sister Aini. Sister Aini surely has distinguished experience in this topic, where she attended Sun Moon University, Cheonan, Asan-si, South Korea in 2016 for an exchange program under Kuliah Language and Management KLM for one semester. Previously, during her study, she majored in English for International Communication, which is NCOM, at IIUM Pago. May I know anyone from NCOM or panel viewing our lives today? Please raise your hand in the comment section, okay? And Alhamdulillah, right now, Sister Aini is working as a lecturer at Al-Bukhari International University, Alor Star, Kedah. I think it's enough for us to acknowledge how amazing our first speaker is. And I'm sure that everyone is looking forward to know about our second speaker too. Next, introducing to you our second speaker, which is Sister Aida. Interestingly, Sister Aida is still a student, just like most of us here. She's in her final year majoring in Bachelor of Laws and she attended Fatih Sultan Mehmet Vakif University, Istanbul at Turkey for one semester for the exchange program. Actually, Turkey is one of the country of my dreams. Just imagine, okay, just imagine having spring is in Istanbul while enjoying the walk by the Hagia Sophia Mosque. It's enough to make me smile from ear to ear actually. But enough for the free advertisement promoting Turkey. Now, the moment that we are all waiting for, I'm sure everyone is eager and thrilled to listen to the sharing by our wonderful speakers. But before that, allow me to make an announcement. At the end of the talk, we will have a 15-minute Q&A session. So, if you have any question or concern, you are welcome to ask during the Q&A session. Or you may post the question in the comment section. And all questions will be answered by our speakers at the end of our live session. So, without further ado, I welcome our first speaker, Sister Aini, to start with the sharing session on Fly with UIA. Welcome. The floor is yours.
Alright, thank you, Brother Aidyl. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good evening, everyone. And 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 아이니입니다. 전문대학교 아산시에서 교환 학생이에요. So hi everyone, my name is Aini and I studied in Sunwon University, Cheonan, South Korea. Okay, so to begin with, let me introduce you with my university. So it is spelled as Sunmun, but then in Korean it is pronounced as Sunmun Dehakyo. Sunmun. Okay, so Sunmun University is located at the rural area. So with the average of 100 kilometer from Seoul, so it will take us around 1 hour and a half to reach Seoul by bus. So for my experience, I went to Sunmoon University for exchange program just for one semester. But Alhamdulillah, Allah the Almighty granted us to experience summer, autumn, and winter together with the snow. So basically, we just didn't experience spring. Yeah, so at that because the time we arrived Korea, so it was towards the end of the summer. So after summer is autumn, and then we stayed there until the end of December. So we managed to experience snow during winter. Okay, and even though it just one semester, but somehow I had completed 3 levels of Korean language in Korean Institute. So every single day, so we had 4 hours of Korean class, started from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So in 1 week, averagely, we will have 5 days times 4 hours. So it's going to be around 20 hours. In 1 month, it is 80, in 1 month, 80 hours. Imagine in one semester. So that's how we managed to speak Korean, or at least basic Korean conversational. And the Sonsang name over there, the teachers and the lecturers taught us Korean language using Korean to the students who did not understand Korean. Ya Allah, I go. Can you imagine the struggle at that time? So I was very stressed, at the time I was there. So I can't wait to come back to Malaysia initially. Okay, so let's talk about UIE. Okay, so as mentioned by the moderator just now, so I am from Kuliah of Languages and Management, KLM. So during my time, we were still in Gombak, UIA Gombak, but now we have moved to Pago, Johor. Okay, so KLM, the kuliah really encourage students to go for exchange, especially in terms of language. So for the kuliah, KLM, they really encourage us. First is to have English, and then second, as you are a student, we have to take Arabic, and then they want us to master another extra language. So as for my case, I decided to go to Korea and then take Korean language over there. So in our kuliah right now in Pago, they even offered Korean language and Japanese language as well as our third language or foreign language. Okay, so talking about NCOM, English for International Communication. So usually NCOM students, we are really familiar with exchange program, or now we call it as mobility program. So usually, okay, KLM students, especially NCOM, we go to Japan, Korea, and Turkey. So as for my case, I managed to transfer credit in total of 12 credit hour. Okay, so just to share, how does UIA support us in terms of financial? So during my time, so it was like what, 5 or 6 years ago. Okay, International Affairs provided us with 2,000 ringgit Malaysia. So it was enough to cover for the flight ticket. And as for the personal budget, so I spent around, I think, 12,000. Okay, I calculated before I fly and when I came back. So I spent around 12,000 for one semester. So it actually depends on our personal expenses. Where do we go travel, or what kind of food do we eat? So that is based on my experience. And then apart from Korean language, in Korea, in that university, in my particular university, which is Sanmun, they also offer another elective subjects such as intercultural communication and public relation. So as for me, initially I took Korean language and another 2 subjects. But then as time passed by, it seems like I cannot manage the workload for the Korean language. So I dropped one subject. So I just took intercultural communication. And for that subject, It was really interesting because intercultural. We went to Korea with other exchange students from different countries. So as for us, for our part, we had to promote Malaysia. So what we did was we served other students from different nationalities with nasi impit and serunding. And then at that time we were imagining that it was a hari raya. So we served them the food and then we made them wear baju kurung while playing the Selamat Hari Raya song. It was very memorable one and it was extremely fun, I would say. And then same goes with other students who came from other countries such as Russia. So they also made us wear their dresses, their traditional dress. And then as for Korean students, they demonstrated to us the taekwondo and they introduced us with a few parts of their cultures. Okay, and what else should I share? Okay, after I came back from Korea, so I started tutoring Korean language. Personally, like a home tutor or like one-to-one tutor, personal tutor. So it is because I would like to retain the Korean vocabs or the Korean grammar, despite of making extra money as a student, of course lah kan. And as of now, inshallah, so next semester, which gonna commence on April, I will be teaching Korean language for undergrad students as well in Al-Bukhari International University. Okay. Um, if you're about to recap all the memories that I had, I would say it was super duper amazing. And little did I know when I arrived Korea, so the first thing that shocked me the most is the was the language barrier. So I didn't know that most of Korean they don't really know English, even a basic English. Most of them cannot speak basic English. So I had a big problem. I had a hard time to order food, to ask for direction, to buy stuff. And that the time I arrived Korea, the things that the Korean phrases that I know were only like 안녕하세요, which means hi. 일고 얼마예요? How much is this? Uh, 감사합니다, 고마워요, thank you, and 하나, 둘, 셋. That's it. That are the Korean words, Korean phrases that I know. So I had a very hard time, and to some point, I feel despair and I feel regret. I regret my decision going to Korea back then. Okay, but then after time passed by and then after I learned Korean because we were forced to memorize all the Korean words, the vocabulary, and then we had exam and tests every single day, and that's how we managed to speak Korean. Okay, another thing that I would like to share is about the struggle to get the halal food. Because it is a non-Muslim country, so the struggle is real. Okay, I would like to ask our moderator, Brother Aidyl. So, do you have any Korean favorite food?
Sushi. Sushi Korean food, right?
Sushi is Japanese food,
Oh,
but
Japanese.
when we convert to Korean, they call it kimbap.
Ah, like that.
Okay, so what about Sister Aida? Do you have any Korean favorite food?
There's a lot, but I do love ramyeon.
Ramyeon 좋아해요.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So usually, okay, sorry. At my university area, it is a rural area, so it was really hard to get halal food. So basically, what we did was we just ate the seafood. Okay, and then another survival skills or another ways for us to survive was, okay, once in a month we went to Seoul to get the halal food, especially the frozen chicken. So usually it always be Itaewon from the Arab supermarket. So we bought it, and then as for Maggi, so they do have Maggi as well. So in Malaysia, it costs us around 5 ringgit, 5 to 6 ringgit. But then when it comes to Korea, So one pack of Maggi that consists of 5 packets, it cost us RM 38 ringgit because it was like 10,000 won. So we just assume that it's like 10 ringgit, but somehow if we convert to Malaysia RM, so it's going to be 38 ringgit for just 5 packets. But then what to do? We don't have much choices, so we just go for it. Um, and then I think it is worth to mention as well, Korean university, most of them are very welcoming. They do provided they do provide lots of cultural activities. The Korean society and the students, the organizations, they conducted lots of Islamic activity to make us feel welcome. So, for example, they conduct Arabian night during Aidyl Adha, and they invited us to cook and then serve them their food. And then they also brought us to Gyeongbokgung, to the palace, and then they also guide us to cook Korean food, Korean traditional food. Mm. And then last point from me is, okay, I would like to mention about how do I put this? Shall I say discrimination or Islamophobia? Okay, I let you judge. Okay, so there are few things that are not really nice to be remembered for us, not really nice experience. Okay, the first thing was when we were in train, like the 4 or 5 of us. So there were this one Haraboji, this one grandpa. Okay, he said loudly that we were terrorists. We were terrorists. He was saying that we carried bomb in our bag, and then he shouted to us, "Go back to your country! Go back to your country!" And at that time, we feel really terrified, and that is one of the worst moments that we had in Korea. And then we were used with people staring at our hijab actually. So, and then another thing that the most common things that happened to us was some taxi drivers won't let us ride their taxis. This happened countless times. So if we try to stop the taxi and then they will just ignore us. So we were really used with this kind of phenomena. We were discriminate because we were wearing hijab. And I think the terrorist part was the worst part ever. Yeah, I think that's pretty much of it from me, Brother Aidyl.
Thank you, Sister Aini. I can say that what a wonderful experience lah that you had back then in Korea, Sister Aini. If I were you, I would be very determined to go back there, even for a short escape, because of the beautiful memories and the sentimental value that it holds.
Exactly.
Yeah. How about you, Sister Aida? There must be something unique and different that you experienced in Turkey. Mind to share with us?
Yes, sure. It was very enjoyable to listen to Sister Aini's sharing just now. And I feel like we both have like quite similarities, but also like some differences because if you know, like Turkey itself is a country that is near Europe, right? So it's actually in the Europe continent. But interestingly, Turkey itself is a country with two continents. It has its Asia division and also Europe division. Uh, so yeah. First of all, my name is Aida, and I'm still a student in IIUM, studying law. And to be honest with you, this is the side effect of going to exchange student. You have to keep in mind that you have like a allowance to yourself that you might have to extend like one semester just in case your study plan like couldn't fit to your original study plan. So that's a heads up to you that is considering to do an exchange student program. And yeah, so I managed to join this student exchange program, alhamdulillah. Actually it was through ICAL itself. ICAL, as you know, law students, like law subjects, it's not really flexible as that, you know, you able to simply study law in other country, because law is quite a restrictive subject where like different country practices different law. That's the general idea. So initially, like my personal thought has always been like, now that I've like studied law, in local university, there's no chance of me going like having to do this exchange student program kind of stuff, because it's just absurd that I can like get to go to another country and learn their law, because it's not really applicable to Malaysian law. But then again, Allah Almighty, there was a chance and I seized it. It was actually, I had to apply for it, and Alhamdulillah, Kulia approved my application. And by then, I had to deal with international offices vision. I believe it's the same uh, thing that Sister Aini had to go through. And yes, so starting from there, then uh, like for me personally, I don't really know Turkey that well. Like hearing Brother Aidyal's description of enjoying spring, walking by Hagia Sophia's mosque, that's very wonderful scenery. Yes, to enjoy. I hope you would be able to go there one day. But I've never had that kind of thought. Personally, for me, Istanbul, Turkey is such a foreign country, and the only Istanbul image that I have in my picture is true. Istanbul, aku datang. The movie itself, yeah. Like everyone asked me to watch that movie again before going to Istanbul, but I was like, why? I'm gonna be there soon anyway. So yeah, I mean, most of the things that you see in Istanbul Keratang is actually the exact scenery that you will see there. Vibrant kind of building, like historical kind of like attraction place, macam bangunan-bangunan lama macam tu, that kind of vibe, historic vibes. That is Turkey, especially Istanbul, Turkey. And so it didn't really, I didn't really register the fact that I'm applying to go to Istanbul, Turkey, until I reread my approval letter. I'm like, wait, I'm going to Istanbul, Turkey, because there was a friend actually who was saying to me, oh my god, you're so lucky you get to go to Istanbul. Because Turkey is such a big country. There are so many states in Turkey. Like you're lucky you didn't end up in a rural area. And zoom in onto the like, I was I think I was really blessed. For a person who didn't do much research on something that she's applying, I am very blessed. Yeah. And so that's my journey in getting the email from the the person in charge in my university, Fatih Sultan Mehmet, Vakif University. It's actually like UIA kind of like governance, where UIA, as we know, UIA is actually like a semi government, semi private kind of like administration, right? And Fatih Sultan Mehmet Vakif University is actually that also. And so, fortunately, they can offer English language courses, which means that the law classes that we attended is taught in English, and it was like that classes were actually like designed just for us. So we were only like the only person in the class is actually like Malaysian student, because just like Sister Aini has mentioned earlier, just like Korea, Turkey is also a country where everyone like seems to not speak English. Like you don't like it's just for me at the time when I first arrived in Turkey, I was just like very shocked and surprised by that fact, because I think in that sense I was ignorant. I thought everyone like Malaysia would at least have like a basic sense of English, like just a simple thing like thank you or welcome. Some couldn't even understand that, or maybe like excuse me. They just don't understand that. But that also shows that just how appreciative they are to their language. And yeah, just so they don't bother about English at all. And also there is also another fact that Turkish people second language is not English. It's mostly German or Arabic. So for you who plans to go to Turkey, yes, please pick up some Turkish before you go. Don't like me, who only knows merhaba, which is hello from the start. And then yeah, As for my university, it's not, but it's not like I said, it's the administration is quite the same with UIA, right? But the thing about Istanbul, because it's so packed, it's actually a very packed city, so it's very hard for you to see a grand university, like big buildings, like you know how big UIA is, right? Like with a lot of like buildings. Even though we have like three, I think yeah, like three or four branches altogether, like your Gomba, your Pago, your Gambang, your Kuantan. But like all of our campuses are big. But Fatih Sultan Muhammad, where we was arrived, it's actually small. It's just macam, I would say like even smaller than shopping mall punya complex, kind of small. Yeah. But the buildings are like well maintained. Semua cumanya yeah, the way that they built their campus is that they separate the campuses. Like I'm in law, so my campus is in Halij. But like psychology student is in Uskudar, which is on the Asia continent, and such lah. So um like as I'm studying law, alhamdulillah, I managed to like liaise with the law department there, and we managed to have credit transfer as well, which is like 12 credit hours. But my advice to you is that you really need to confirm this beforehand, like because sometimes it is not offered, so it is up to you, your responsibility to really double check this first before anything. Yeah, because like I said, you might end up like extending your studies like me, and if it's like not in your plan, then that might be trouble for you lah. And also budget wise, because Turkey is actually a country where our currency is higher. This is understandable if you look at Turkey's history in itself, because they have like so much conflicts, and sometimes like they are part of like their states that are still in war with other country, so that's why their currency fluctuates, and that allows our currency to be higher than them. And so for spending wise, I would say even though the budget um, is solely on us, we had to find our own trip going there, but I think it's bearable, especially because Turkey is still a Muslim country. So the food is very easy to access, that like the grocery marts, and even the food, the restaurant, like you can just eat it freely without any hesitation, in my opinion. And yeah, I feel like that's about like the most one. But I would say like just another advice, like from my experience, right? If you were going to a country where you know you're gonna have a language barrier, it's very new, do a thorough research of the place that you're going, so you can avoid getting scammed. Like me, our group actually got scammed in arranging our flight ticket, and also our accommodation. Also, there were like some heavy issues. I actually cried like for actually like broke down like 2 nights before my flight, and like told my mom that I'm not gonna go. It was just too stressful. Like the fun that you see your friends, like had, like if they were on the student exchange program, you had to know that they have done like a lot of like preparation beforehand. So it's not like all fun, but like to reach that like fun times, you need to like be going through like some hardcore preparations first lah, because at the end you're an adult setting out into another country. So I guess you should just like be more mindful of the situation that you're gonna be in. Yeah, I think that's all from me.
Thank you, Sister Aida. What a wonderful sharing from our extraordinary speakers. And I'm sure all of us learn a lot from the sharing. And Alhamdulillah, thank you very much, Sister Aini and Sister Aida, for sharing your story with us today. You guys surely have a very great and fantastic experience from the exchange program. I'm sure everyone here is very eager and passionate about applying with UIA for an exchange program after listening to the amazing experiences by both of our speakers today. Fret not, because now the speaker will share some guidelines and helpful advice on how to apply for the exchange program. But before that, I would like to remind my dearest participants to fill in the attendance and evaluation form provided in the chat box, also in the description section of this YouTube live, so that you can get your star point by joining us. Now, I welcome our great speakers to share some handy tips and advice to our audience on how to apply for the exchange program. I welcome our first speaker, Sister Aini, to share her tips. You are very much welcome, Sister Aini.
Okay, so we are talking about how to apply for exchange program or mobility program. So the procedure is, I think, it is depends on the respective kuliah, isn't it? Okay, and for KLM, so we have to work. Okay, I am speaking based on my experience as a KLM student. So for KLM, we have to work close with academic affairs. Okay, so I will just go through briefly some procedures during my time. Okay, so first what we did was we have to list down the subjects where it matched the credit hours. Okay, this one is from URA, all the subjects that you have not taken yet, and this one is from the Salman University. And then you can mix and match the subject. And then you have to confirm with the student affair and academic department, academic affairs of your respective kuliah, either this one can be transferred to the host university or not. Okay, because we don't want to extend our study just for the sake of going to exchange, right? That is what worried us the most. So if we could graduate on time together with exchange program, joining exchange program, it would be the best. Okay, my advice is don't let exchange program extend your period of study. Okay, and then what I did was, okay, after listing down all the subjects, okay, we discussed with the dean of academic affairs to confirm the MOU status with the university. So back then, I think the only option that we had when it comes to Korea, South Korea, I think it was on the Sunwon University. So MOU status is still active, so it shouldn't be a problem. So we proceed with the next steps, and then we liaise with International Affair of IIUM. We have to submit few documents to the to UIA and then to the respective university, and based on that also, that was how UIA supported us with 2,000 ringgit. At least we can cover for our flight ticket. And then the hostel and academic fees should be done in UIA. So we paid everything here in UIA. And then once we arrive there, okay, we just have to settle for insurance, for our alien card, student card, and whatnot. Mm. And then the last process is we have to prepare the passport, the visa, and then we have to do the health exam. Especially the most important one, if I'm not mistaken, if we were talking about a student visa, it's about hepatitis. So they are really strict about hepatitis. And then for now, I'm not sure the procedure because things change accordingly, isn't it? So now you might have quarantine and whatnot. And just to share, I have a few friends who joined exchange program from different batches. Like they pursue their master in Korea. Some of them even went to Sun Moon back, and some of them went to another university. So from my batch, we have three students who are currently in South Korea. They pursue their master under Korean government scholarship KGSP. So that's going to be 3 years, which 1 year is for the you will be in the Korean institute where you have to complete like 4 levels of Korean language, and then another 2 years where you undergo for your master. So yeah, we can say that most of exchange students who go to South Korea, they will go back to pursue their study over there. But for me, maybe inshallah one day. I think that's all from me based on my experience that I underwent for KLM.
Okay, thank you, Sister Aini. Such great tips from an experienced speaker. I hope that everyone benefits well from the tips shared by Sister Aini just now. And how about our second speaker? Maybe Sister Aida has a different approach or distinguished tip that may be applicable to the current state of IIUM, or maybe now we have a different policy or a new approach?
Thank you, Brother Aidyl. As for the current state of like policy in ICOL itself, because I went to Turkey under ICOL, right? Basically, I think they haven't opened any new application yet, understandably because of the pandemic. However, I know a friend who has applied for exchange student program under Mevlana, but and last I heard, the studying is done through online. It's yeah, like they couldn't like go there physically just yet. But if inshallah, if one day maybe I call reopen the application again, so for my experience, the way that the process happened, just like I've mentioned earlier, I applied for it, and some needs to interview but some don't. Alhamdulillah, I didn't have to interview, and so there was a list of name that came out, that was announced by ICOL, and we like students that that were that has successfully been approved to go to the student exchange program. We took our own initiative to hold a meeting, uh, all of us, where we discuss about the credit transfers and also about the sponsorship pledge. The moment that we were informed that we had to deal with the fees alone, except for the tuition fee that will be waived by the Turkish university. We came up together with a list of brands that we think is going to be able to sponsor us, but unfortunately we couldn't get any sponsorship. So that effort was futile, but in a way it was fun because we get to know like the persons that we are going to the exchange student program with beforehand. And in my experience, we were a group of about 17 or 18 people, I think, go to Turkey in 2009, 2020. So it has only been like, I think, 2 years. Alhamdulillah, we managed to go there even like right before pandemic. So it was a really sweet moment of us. And so for the credit transfer, I totally agree with Sister Aini. Make sure you don't have to extend your semester, and especially for us law students. The fact is that credit or I call that it's even like the highest number of credit hours in all courses tau, compared to all kuliah tau. It's like the highest credit hours compared to all law faculties in Malaysia. So, bearing that fact in mind, you really need to plan your study plan efficiently and make sure, like I said, make sure you allow yourself this allowance of like possibility to extend your study, especially if you're an Italian student. Because if you don't, then you're just gonna be really frustrated once you went back and to find out that your study plan is not going as planned. And as for the subjects that are offered, interestingly, because I'm a civil law student, I'm an LLB student, as compared to LLBS student, they were offered to transfer credit for the one main subject, PIL, Public International Law, that we actually learn in Turkey from a Turkish lecturer itself. We call them hoja, and they managed to transfer credits for like 3 Sharia subjects. But for our civil students, we managed to transfer credit for 3 elective subjects as well. So the class that we attended there was actually for me it was fun, because we actually get to learn European law, and also in international arbitration law and Turkish business law. And like I said, public international law, we also learn over there. So for me, the most exciting thing is that, like learning these like international laws in a country that is known for its conflicts and, like having like wars still. It's interesting to see their perspective in this kind of subject. Like I feel like their views is a lot more open. And so yeah, that's it for this subject. The way that it was the way that the subjects are being handled though, don't be surprised, they don't have any assignment. But they're like only exam based. Yeah, for me as someone who actually like strive more on assignments and presentation, I was struggling real bad because I'm not an exam oriented person. But they're so nice, just be Malaysia student. My university, Sultan Muhammad Vakif University, actually catered like some location for like assignments and stuff just because they know that Malaysian students enjoy presentation. So that's really nice of them. And yeah, as for uh, on the preparation on how to apply there as well. So like once you get your approval letter, just make sure you actually get a formal letter from the other university that you're attending. As long as you don't get that, that they haven't confirmed your place in that university, do not buy your flight ticket yet, because that was actually a case I heard from national office that the sister was actually, like I guess very excited, understandably, and the UIA has actually announced that she was a successful applicant. However, she unfortunately didn't wait for the formal letter from the other university. So it turns out she didn't actually get a place, as her name wasn't in the list of that university. So that was an unfortunate event, I guess. So the way you can avoid it, like I said, please confirm the arrival for a formal letter in the from the international office division. And also make sure to know who is the person in charge, especially before you are going there, right? Before you are traveling to the country itself, there should be like a good period of like 1 month, I think, where you. But 1 month is very short. I tell you, like you just have to get ready, like be, like just have to be prepared of everything, your flight ticket, and like some they also like secure your return ticket immediately, and the accommodation. Okay, so like I said earlier, right, because like I had this issue where I was scammed and all. So the way I look at it, like lesson learned, definitely. So you just need to like be diligent and check with the student society in that country, precisely Malaysian student society in that country. And yeah, just like try to talk to one of the representative there a lot more on the in the budget, or like just try to get a macam survey dulu dengan diorang, because of course they would know like a lot better, because they are studying and living in that country currently rather than you. And so you can also ask ask the person in charge yang you liaise with on whether there is an available accommodation at the university itself. For us, there was, but we declined it because we couldn't cook in it. So you know how Malaysians and their food is very important. It has such a strong relation, right? So we feel that, oh no, like plus Turkey is gonna be like having like foreign food. I don't think we're gonna be survive on like just local food. We have to find a place that cooks. And yeah, and also interestingly, Saini said something about visa, right? In Turkey, there's also a residence permit where, Alhamdulillah, it was arranged by my university. So I guess it really depends on the university that you're going. That you have to make sure whether like this kind of assistance is available in your university, or if you decided to go studying abroad later on, or exchange student program. Because like this kind of assistance, unfortunately, I've heard some university didn't offer it. So it's kind of like like a miracle, I would say, that my university had a very accommodating staff and just overall a very like good relationship with us in ensuring that we are comfortable in their country and as their student. They really took good care of us. And I think one more thing. Oh, and also I guess like this is an advice for me as well. Like one thing that I just know on preparation, right? Make sure that you actually be diligent in checking the bank account details, or like some kind of like medicine preparation. Some of you might have asthma or have allergic, right? So healthcare might not be accessible easily there. And yeah, you just have to be like more diligent in checking those kind of stuff, and also on your phone number. Even like a smallest thing like phone number can also be an issue, where in Turkey we are not allowed to like use a foreign phone number like more than a month, I think, if that's like how I correctly remember it. Like we don't, no, oh sorry, we have to have a residence permit unless our phone will be blocked. So like if in the period of like 1 month we don't have our residence permit, what happened to one of my friend? She couldn't actually like do anything with the phone. It's useless. So like even like when like changing her number, the phone itself is blocked. So like these are the kind of like the quirky thing, unique things that you will only know if you are diligent in checking this stuff. And also, I think a great advice would be to just reach out to the student society, Malaysian student society that is in the country itself. As for Turkey, it is Masad or Pelajar Malaysia Turkey. You can find them on Instagram. And I would say in my experience, they're actually like very friendly people that are really welcoming in offering like to help you in anything that you might encounter later on. So I think yeah, that's all from me. Back to you, I guess, Brother Aidyl.
Thank you, Sister Aida. Such impressive tips and advice shared by our amazing speakers today. And I'm sure all of us learned a lot, and we're very happy to figure out the tips to apply for the exchange program. Alhamdulillah, thank you very much, Sister Aini and Sister Aida, for sharing a very eye opening knowledge about the exchange program. May we all benefit from the sharing, inshallah. I hope that everyone can accomplish their dream to fly with your A one fine day. And now I open the floor to all viewers if you have any question. And you may write your question in the comment section of YouTube, and our speaker will be very delighted to answer your queries. Thank you. So the first question from Sister Nor Amira Fitra. She asked if we already took subject that offered in UIA last sem, is it can if we take again while student exchange program there? I mean, any of our speakers want to answer?
Okay, so I guess I'll go first. Okay, this one, as for KLM, this is definitely a no. So you cannot take the similar subject. Actually, you may want to take that subject again, but then the credit cannot be transferred because you took it already. That subject last semester, and then once you want to repeat it during exchange program, you may repeat that subject, but then the credit hour wants to be transferred. That is in my case. I am not sure about ICOL.
From my experience, that is unheard of. I am not sure about this question specifically per se, but I would like to add, maybe if you can find a leeway in the subject, like how we, like I told you that we took Turkish business law, right? So actually in back in ICOL, back in UIA, we've already like taken business law. So probably like the twist is that it is like Turkish business law. So if maybe like you can find like that kind of leeway, I guess. So you can like still be able to transfer the credit, but it really depends on the discretion of your kuliah. please make sure you check that beforehand. Make sure you have like zero confusion on the transfer credit because it can really affect your study plan. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. We move to the next question from Sister Rabiatul. Do other kuliah have the exchange program as well, especially during this pandemic?
Okay. So I just finished my master last 2 years. Okay, so I will be talking for on behalf of Kuliah of Education. Okay, not KLM. Okay, Kuliah of Education. At that time, at that time the pandemic already started. Okay, so we still have exchange program, but then it will be conducted online. So during my time, I heard of exchange program between co-ed students, education students with Turkish university, and another one with Japanese university, but it is online. But for KLM, I'm not sure. I never heard anything like online exchange and whatnot.
Maybe Sister Aida want to share anything or
Yeah, for me, yeah, for other kuliah, I'm not sure, but I think you can always check with international office because they would have that information ready. Since when I applied for this student exchange program, even though it was straight call, but we had to liaise with international office a lot. So sure they have the information ready for you if you were to ask them. But yes, I just remembered in iCall, except for, I mean, excluding Turkey, right? They do still have this application for student exchange program virtually in, uh, God, I forgot the name, but it's in Indonesia. It was Yogyakarta University, if I'm not mistaken, where I feel like if your interest is more on polishing your resume, like to get that student exchange program title in your resume, then that can be a good start as well. Because last I heard, it was just like free thing, but you do have to be attending the courses over the holiday lah, over the semester break. Hope that
Okay.
helps your question.
Okay, I would like to add something. Okay, as for the first question, do other kuliah have the exchange program? Yes, they do. Usually for South Korea, the kuliahs that always involved with South Korea is KLM, Econs, and IT. That's it.
okay, thank you for the answer. We move to the next question from Sister Wan Nabiha. Does participating in this exchange program make it easier to get a job in the future?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so honestly, if we go for exchange program to a country that has their own language, and we happen to learn the language, the answer is yes, definitely. So in my case, I have attended like few interviews, job interviews as an educator. So once they know that you went exchange to Korea, so and then they will ask us, can you promote our university in Korean language? So that is the common interview question that they would ask me. So yeah, I promote their university or their campus, their college in Korean language. It does actually. Sister Aida?
Like get a job yet, so I think I'm like actually fit to answer this question. Right, interestingly, I have attended several interviews for my internship, and yeah, I actually like noticed you attended this student exchange program. Actually, they would very much like took a great interest on your English section. They would want to have the skills because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, some companies do actually offer extra allowance for this capability on a third language, especially if that company deals with that particular country a lot. That is like the some of the they have, and they if you don't participate in the student program, right? My advice is at least the opportunity to learn like one additional language because I remember I put French in my language. Because I learned one semester of French language class in Smart UIA. I'm not sure the full, yeah, but like that was one. Unfortunately, it has already closed down last time I heard. But there was this one office actually offered you language classes where you have to pay for only like ringgit in a semester. Yeah, when I included that, the interviewee actually pretty much the same thing like was asked my sister me. Like they asked me to speak like some French, and I was like, huh? Luckily, I was actually like prepared from like to have this kind of question based on the uh, tips and tricks that I've learned in interviews. So yeah, make sure you like you don't goreng lah. Like if you don't actually like know that language well, then do include that in your resume. And especially if you have attended the exchange student program, I mean, like logically, you've attended a school there, a university there, so make sure you polish your language skills a bit. Greetings pun okay. I mean, they would know. Hopefully.
Okay, thank you for the answer. We move to the question from Sister Rabiatul. Is there any requirements for CGPA?
Okay, this one is different according to respective kuliah. So for KLM during my time, it wasn't that high, so it was just around 2.75. So the minimum CGPA is 2.75, and once you exceed the CGPA given, you are free to apply. So we just apply either the respective university want to accept or reject. So that is another story. But we can apply as long as we have at least 2.75.
How about I call Sister Aida?
Yeah, and for ICAL during my application, they really like outright qualification that stated on the CGPA. Basically, like, everyone is welcome to apply. I think one of the factor is because like we have Salman itself anyway. Was original thought. However, when the list came out, like I said, some has to interview and some don't. And it's actually because of the CGPA. It actually plays a role in your application. So I guess if CGPA is on your side, if there is no requirement that is mentioned, just apply it. However, if you have to attend the interview, it's because they need like some assurance from you, like some security from you that you're gonna be able to well and to see well in that country. So because you are representing YP, so they have to make sure that their reputation is intact in that sense. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We move to the next question from the audience. Okay, from Sister Jannatul Fazira, I have a concern that different country has different culture and environment. What if I can't cope during the exchange program? Is there any tips or advice on how I can adapt while studying here there?
Okay, so I think this is the same problem that I faced at the first place. Okay, at the first time, I really had problem with the weather, with the food, especially Korean food. Or I still remember the first time, like I really cannot tolerate Korean food to the point that I even vomited. Okay, so in that case, because for me I had no other option at that time, so you just had to go on, even though like you are having like a very hard battle within yourself, so in your mind, so you're having like a really harsh battle. But then because you think that this is one lifelong opportunity, so it might only come once in your whole life, so you just go for it. So to adapt with the culture, for me, I think we need support, especially from the other friends that go to the country together with us. So that is what makes us stronger. So to adapt, it might take some time, but it is doable, inshallah.
How about you, Sister Aida? Anything you
Yes.
want to share?
Yeah, this is very interesting question. I think it's one point of time everyone will be having this like homesies. I knew I had it. My friends had it while we were in Turkey, and so I feel if you were to ask like what if can the shape, the honest answer you will never know until the situation. Like your strength will only be tested then when you're in that country. It's Aini said, support system is very important. Like I said, alhamdulillah, like we went to Key with a group of like I can't remember the exact number, but like 17, 18 students lah. We actually like students yang tak rapat pun sebenarnya, but we bond over this program. And my house has like 6 roommates. Although we actually like have different like plans because we are kind of people like one like explore and one like to just stay at home. One like to like go out and about on her own. Like like with different personality, but they are still there whenever I'm down. Like they cheer me up. They are like a person to talk to whenever I'm down, just because like maybe I need she encountered some like Islamophobic incident, right? Actually happened as well. So like but we had each other to talk about it. So I feel like support system is great, and definitely one thing that you need while there. Like even if you were to go alone, make sure you have a friend who you can tag, or like a family that you can call to just relieve your stress or to relieve your homesickness throughout the program. Also, another thing is just to be minded. You just have to be really broad minded. This is a country where you are not familiar with. It's fine that you feel uncomfortable in situations. You have to be you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay feeling uncomfortable. This is a lot of a learning experience. You challenging your like limits. It's a great thing that you have already opportunity to go to exchange program. So what do? Now it's up to you to challenge that limit in yourself. So yeah, I think that's it from me.
Okay, thank you for the great advice and tips. Okay, we move to the next question from Sister Wan Nabiha. Is insurance included in the program? If not, which insurance should I take? Hmm, about insurance.
Okay. So this is why MOU is important. So meaning to say the international relation between the host university and the university that we go to. So in this case, they already have some sort of agreement and a very clear guideline when it comes to insurance, health insurance. It comes to our safety as a different citizenship. So in my case, so we don't have to think about it at all. So when we go to the university, when we arrive there, so the international department at the respective university, they will guide us. So we just have to spend some money. We have to pay, especially for health insurance, okay, and then the foreign insurance. So we just follow the flow. So they will guide us step by step for the insurance purposes.
Okay, how about Sister Ida? Is same or
Yeah, as for me, then Turkey, that's very true. It is very important, and that is how we actually worry about one thing less, including insurance. Yeah, insurance as well as insurance, which is called as Sigorta, as well as the residence permit, which is ikamet in Turkey. It's actually a process handled by the university staff there. So we didn't have to worry about it. Just had to fill in some forms and pay the fees, which was during my course about 120 tele or like Turkish lira. So you will get a card and you'll be got it. But yes, definitely that this question is really important. You really before going to student exchange program, whether finance is included in it or not. Mm.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Okay, from user 999. I heard country is one of the affordable exchange program. Is there any difference among the fees for different course?
Okay, he meant Turkey. So I heard Turkey country is one of the affordable exchange programs. So this question is specifically for Sister Aida.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's another question. Yeah. Oh, biasa tu.
Oh,
Turkey is one of the affordable exchange program. As someone who has lived there, I think it can be yes or it can be a no as well. It really depends on your spending. But guys, because our currency is slightly higher than them, so in aspect of the exchange rate, you get your new lah. And also, like, okay, let's say like how on Twitter you see like people in comparison, like what you can buy with 50 ringgit in the supermarket, right? So usually like in Malaysia, people will sadly just end up with like two taste. But if you go to Turkey supermarket with 50 Turkish lira, 50 or 50, you can actually acquire like a couple of stuff. I think it's a good bargain. So in that like grocery sense, I think it's affordable, yes. However, as we know, Turkey is the very first place with its like endless trend. There are just so many states to explore. Cappadocia, Pamukkale, apa lagi? Qatar, like banyak sangat. So that's where your budget will actually be overlooked. And that's how you need to be very mindful in arranging your budget in that sense. Is there any difference among fees for different course? Oh, that's an interesting question. However, I do not have any information on that, unfortunately, because I think specifically for my course call, like I've mentioned, our tuition fee was actually waived. It was a part of the MOU as well, alhamdulillah. So we didn't have to pay for the university's tuition fee for the Turkey university fee. However, we do still have to pay tuition fee for UIA to to enable to I guess still maintain status as a student here in UIA. So that's how it was back then in my experience. Yeah, I hope it helps.
okay, thank you, Sister Aida, for the answer. We move to the next question. Okay, the question from Sister Shahida Zambri. How much the budget that you prepared before flying to Turkey, sister? Okay, Sister Aida.
Wow, how much okay. Uh before we actually like like even before we went to Turkey, before we actually confirm our answer that yes, we want to still go to Turkey, right? Now that we have been approved, the moment we get the approval letter, there is a period of where the kuliah will ask you like whether you accept this approval letter or not. During this period of time, the kuliah actually arranging with all of where they disclose this kind of thing, the credit transfer on the on the semester itself, where you're going, and the budget is included in this. So they're very transparent. They said, unfortunately, kuliah cover expenses on this, except for the tuition fee that has been waived. So I remember at that time the deputy dean, Dr. Ajul, was actually uh like specifying the budget on a whiteboard. He was like blah blah blah. So in total, the rough estimation for your journey would be about 10,000 ringgit Malaysia. So if you think this too of a figure, please consider and like let us know your answer later. To be honest with you, the moment I heard about this, but I was already crying inside. This is too much. I don't think I can like, I can join this. But alhamdulillah, after discussion with my parents, they were very supportive, alhamdulillah. And so that's how I was able to go. But like I said, uh, Turkey has a lot of like travel places, beautiful places that you definitely want to go. My initial plan was to actually travel in like some Europe country that is nearby because it's nearby. The flight tickets actually cheap. Yeah, like if you're very interested in traveling, that's really like the thing that you should try to, because that would be the big factor that would affect your budget. So on the expense itself, according to Dr. Joe's calculation, about 10K like need to be prepared. Mind the accommodation for 6 months, the bills, the visa or like the residence permit fees and all. Yeah, and so I'm not sure much about now because it's pandemic. We're still like kind of like in the pandemic time, but I hope that the figure haven't changed lah. If it has changed, then I'm really sorry I didn't give you the information that is up.
Okay, thank you, Sister Aida and Sister Aini, because answering the question from the audience. I think that's all for this Q&A session. Okay, as the saying goes, to every beginning there is an ending. Okay, and now the program has come to its end. Once again, thank you, Sister Aini and Sister Aida, for the blessing our program with your great sharing and experiences. And thank you, our dearest audience, for gracing our talk with your presence. We truly appreciate it. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to apologize if we have made any mistakes throughout this event. I end my duty as the moderator for today's talk with Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.